Good afternoon, this is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding, here to update our prior presentation on the Streamlined Foreign Offshore Procedures. The Streamlined Foreign Offshore Procedures, otherwise known as the expat procedures, are typically the best program for taxpayers who are non-willful and have unreported foreign accounts, assets, investments, income, entities, trusts, etc. Why? Because not only can the taxpayer file original returns, but the penalties are waived. So let's jump in. The Expat Streamline program, as it's known, is for taxpayers who have unreported foreign accounts, assets, investments, and income. Okay. The taxpayer has to have been a U.S. person during the reporting period so that they were required to file a Form 1040. If they were required to file a Form 1040 NR instead, then generally that's not accepted through the Streamlined Foreign Offshore Procedures. The taxpayer has to qualify as a foreign resident. Two ways to qualify. If they are a citizen, U.S. citizen, or permanent resident, then they have to meet the 330-day rule in one of the 3 years within the compliance period. Otherwise, if they're a visa holder, let's say, then they just have to meet or not meet the substantial presence test in one of those 3 years. And of course, they have to be non-willful. There's no bright line test to determine non-willfulness. It's essentially a totality of the circumstance. Taxpayers look at all the facts to determine whether they were non-willful. Most taxpayers are going to be non-willful. Some taxpayers are willful. That typically will mean intent, though it can also include reckless disregard and willful blindness. You'll see a bunch of garbage online written about it, making it sound like all taxpayers who miss the reporting are going to qualify as willful, but that's simply just not true. There's lots of benefits to the Streamlined Foreign Offshore Procedures. First is there's no penalty. All those horrific penalties you've read about, $10,000 per year for FBAR, that adjusts for inflation, so now it's like $15,000. You've got $10,000 for the 8938, et cetera, et cetera. Under Streamlined Foreign, all those penalties are waived, which is great, right? That's why you're doing it. You get to file original returns. Under Streamlined Domestic, for the people who don't qualify for Streamlined Foreign, they can't file original returns with its submission. But for Streamlined Foreign, the IRS takes a position that, hey, these taxpayers are foreign residents for at least during the compliance period, and presuming that they're compliant in their foreign country, then we understand that they may have not even filed returns. Maybe all of their income is foreign sourced. So you can file original returns, and you can claim the foreign earned income exclusion. You can claim foreign tax credits. So more often than not, taxpayers who think they might owe tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions, find that they have no tax liability and there's no penalty. So that's great. Some taxpayers who have not filed will consider doing something called a quiet disclosure, especially with Streamlined Foreign, because taxpayers think especially with foreign residents, because they think, oh, they're overseas, the IRS can't get them. That's not true. We had a recent article we wrote about how the IRS seizes foreign assets and accounts, so keep that in the back of your mind. With a quiet disclosure, instead of filing Streamlined, you just file and secretly, right? Hoping the IRS doesn't find you. You do it silently, they call it, or quietly. You prepare tax returns, you submit them, you submit FBARs. The problem is, if you get caught, then the IRS has made it known that they will enforce fines and penalties, and you can take something that was non-willful through Streamlined Foreign Offshore Procedures with no penalty and possibly no taxes due, and now you're going through the headache of potentially being willful and then getting hit with those really horrible penalties that you find online, 50%, maximum value of the account, things like that. There's many ways that the IRS has to find taxpayers that are overseas. Oftentimes, if the foreign institution knows the taxpayer is a U.S. person or lived in the U.S. or moved to the U.S. and then came back, they may have them sign a FATCA certification, know your customer KYC letter. More than 110 countries and hundreds of thousands of foreign financial institutions have entered into agreements with the U.S. government to provide that information. So, especially if you qualify for Streamlined Foreign, there is no need to do a quiet disclosure. You can just submit to Streamlined Foreign, typically avoid fines and penalties. We have a ton of free information on our main website and our sub-websites. You can always reach out and schedule a reduced fee initial consultation if it's appropriate to your matter, and it's something that we handle here. Again, my name is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.